Welcome back. I'm Ben.
And I'm Carrie, Nikolai.
We're agents with Coldwell banker Siewert Realtors here in Wisconsin Rapids.
Yes, we are.
Today is the 12th of March.
The month of March is just marching along.
You know, in like a lion out like a lamb, depending on the coronavirus. Could be the other way.
I don't know. They've got corned beef in the store, so I'm pretty happy, pretty stoked. We're stacking up for the whole entire year.
Coming up on one of your favorite holidays.
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
It should be like a national holiday. Everyone should take off of work and eat some corned beef and cabbage and some
On
yum foods.
St. Patty's Day.
Which kind of then is also going to be your birthday cake time of the year yet too on top of it.
Yeah, coming up in April, and then you get to catch the May.
I get to catch all of May. So great times here in Rapids.
You bet.
All right, so we had a busy week.
We did. Things are getting excited. People are listing their houses.
And boy, do we ever have the list of homes. We had, 6 homes on tour?
So we talked about the one that we have over on Williams.
Yep.
661
Williams Street.
Over in Burin. We talked about that last week.
Correct. So we're not going to talk about it again. Actually, we are, but we're going to circle back around.
Right, for the open house.
For the open house.
So we've got...
Shady Lane.
Right, we saw 465 Shady Lane for $130,000. We saw that on Wednesday because we do tour on Wednesday with the office. So.
Yeah, that was a really nice 3-bedroom home. Had a space in the basement to build possibly a bonus room. So they had a few things already kind of framed out for that. So that was kind of nice to see. But just really cute little home. Great starter home.
And it's right at that, price point where a lot of people are looking at, like between the $80,000 and $140,000.
Yeah, and this one's coming in at $130,000. So nice price. Great part of Rapids yet too.
So then we went over to 5810 Ashbury Drive.
Yes. So Ashbury Drive is in Grand Rapids?
I believe so. Yep. This was on our if there were a luxury home market here in our area, this would probably be it.
Yeah, this would be a great qualifier. So it was a 4-bedroom.
I believe so.
At least 3, possibly 4 from our old memory is not quite, we didn't write that down. So we apologize for that.
We can tell you more if you'd like to go and look at it.
Yeah.
But it's listed for $485,000.
But it has 2 acres of land. So don't get too freaked out by that price and go, oh my gosh, it's a 4-bedroom home for that. But it's all the higher end appliances, the higher end flooring. I mean, it's very nicely done and it's on 2 acres.
Right. They just went through and redid all the flooring. It's now 3-inch cherry plank hardwood. The banisters and the handrails to match. It's gorgeous.
It's a beautiful home.
With the bedrooms on the upstairs, it has a little bit of a common area so you can access all the bedrooms along. The master suite is phenomenal. Just that's the only way to
little
describe
tiny storage areas kind of hidden throughout. So there's a closet inside of a closet. In the master bathroom, there's a shelf that is actually the door for for more storage. So there's storage hidden throughout the rest of this house. I mean, there's a lot of home there to begin with, but it's also been done very nice.
Got 2 soaking tubs, one in the master bath and then another in that main upstairs bathroom. And it overlooks the wooded lot behind it. So like you said, 2 acres. It is gorgeous.
It is. It's very, very nicely done. Then we popped on over to Cedar Lane, so 8331 Cedar Lane. We went to go see that one, and again, a very nice. It's a tri-level.
Yes.
Yeah, tri-level. I
Yes.
wanted to say raised ranch, but that didn't quite. Words couldn't connect.
You'll walk in on the living room areas right there, along with the kitchen and dining.
So nice open concept, and then it splits off from there to.
Walking up the stairs has the bedrooms and a bath.
And then the lower level, so they did something different with this one.
Right.
They outgrew the 3 bedrooms that it originally was, so they did a 4th bedroom downstairs.
With a half bath.
With a half bath and the laundry room. So you could possibly take that door out if you just wanted it to be a 3-bedroom home and not have that be a bedroom. You could turn that back into a family room.
Definitely.
A split family room. So what was really nice, and it even has the lower level, the house just continues on. So,
And that's again at that price point, right around $130,000, the 129.9.
and then we swung back over to 14th Avenue.
Correct. Yep.
We took a look at 171 14th Avenue South, and that's coming in just under the 90,000 price range. Again, nice old 2-story home here in Wisconsin Rapids. It's on the west side of town.
Correct. Yep.
So really cute location, just like a half a block away from the splash pad over by Mead. So really, it's a very charming home. It has character.
It's another good location, and it's a well-built house. Yeah. And the great location, like you said, right next to the splash pad. If you've got kids, it's close to the school, it's close to those activities, so you don't have to worry about keeping them in the yard. They can mingle with the other kids in the neighborhood and whatnot.
Exactly.
It's easy to get north, so if you wanted to head up Rudolph or over to Pittsville, that's right on that side of the river, or even catching up Baker and scooting over to Plover, pretty easy to get to.
Right. One that didn't make the list, but we went to take a look at 1402 21st Avenue.
The condominium.
The condo.
Okay.
So a rare thing that kind of comes up in our market in our area, only because we have one condo association, I believe, here in Rapids.
And they're all clustered together, or
Right.
most of them are clustered together.
Right. So we had one came up on the market for 66.9. So, really great for those, I don't want to call them millennials, but
You get a lot what you pay for.
right, you do. So with it being in that condo situation, you get all the lawn care taken care of, you get the snow removal, you get a lot of things there. You get a lot of bang for your buck.
It's almost an apartment, but you're creating and investing in yourself, so you're creating that value. You're building the equity, similar as you would a house, because you're owning that portion of the condominium, but you don't have to worry about the other things.
Right.
So the main part of the building, the upkeep, if someone's a fairly transient person, maybe their job takes them out of town a lot.
That's what I was trying to search for.
Sure. Or if you just don't want to, maybe
Right.
you grew up and everyone else in your family took care of those things. Hey, it's an option, and it's a good price.
Right. So that one was a really nice one to go take a look at. And then the last one was 611 10th Avenue South.
We're going to call it a fixer-upper. It has a lot of potential.
It has great potential.
Yeah.
It just needs a little bit of love. As we're kind of walking through there, you have to know where to start. That's the first thing that you kind of look at is, okay, where do I start in this? Because every single square inch of this house needs to be addressed.
It needs to be cleaned and taken care of again and gutted, and maybe even down to the studs, and refocus on everything so you can flip it. This is a good one for a flipper. It came in at $50,000, and we're told that's flexible.
Yes, I think it's one of those things. I mean, it was a rental property for many, many years, and now the gentleman just wants to he wants it gone.
It does have a lot of potential, though. So if you're looking for something to refurbish, remodel,
It is definitely not move-in ready.
no, it's a project house.
It's a project house.
It does have a lot of good woodworking features, that wood trim. I mean, so if
If you wanted to try to save it and bring it back to its old glory, I think it's possible to do, depending upon what your destruction level is. If you're can destroy things and keep it good, or are you just kind of, I'm going to go in there and, well, if it breaks, we can just do new.
right.
So a lot of great opportunities that are out there on the market, and we're just kind of getting into that spring. We're looking at moving, we're looking at selling, and things are going to start opening up.
Things are coming on the market quick, and things are going off the market just as quick. But there's something for everyone.
And we faced that last year too. So this is nothing. This is not a new thing for us. It's new for our buyers, and it's new for our sellers. So just kind of, if you're listening to your agents and they're saying you need to make a decision and we need it within the next 12 hours, take them serious. You need to do something within the next 12 hours. You can't wait for that hour 13.
So there are a lot of buyers in the pool. A lot of people want to come, here to Wisconsin Rapids. We do have a lot to offer.
We do.
So segue into our multi-part series. I think it's going to be a 3-part series. We did part 1, our interview with Mayor Zach last week. We talked about the aquatics facility,
Yes.
and that was kind of eye-opening. Like I said, there's a lot of nuts and bolts that went through with that. If people are following through the city council meetings and whatnot, and the open houses, and our office is right down the block, so we get to see the progress every day.
We drive by every single day. We get to see it, and see how everything is coming along, and it's been fun to watch. It's been extremely fun to watch, and very excited about having that opening.
Yeah.
So it'll be kind of neat.
So if you guys are curious about that part of the interview, go back and watch part 1.
Mm-hmm.
I'll link it as much as I can through descriptions and whatnot.
All right,
And then
so part 2
this week we're doing part 2, right?
And it's the walking path. So Rapids just put in a new walking path that is connecting all the bridges. So we can walk from the Riverview Expressway all the way up to the next bridge.
We can go from Port Edwards to the clock tower on a path.
There you go. So, but we do have that loop around the 2 bridges. I want to call it the Jackson Street Bridge, but it's not. I think it's the Grand Avenue Bridge. There we go.
It's the Expressway Bridge, where a new underneath the bridge has been put in, and the fitness center over there.
Yep, and it's got the outdoor fitness center that you can walk right through.
Right, and then they redeveloped the park, the Veterans Park there between Grand Avenue and Jackson Street.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. So,
got a lot to talk about with Mayor Zach.
And so we'll segue to that.
All right, well, enjoy. So another topic we have is Veterans Park.
Yeah.
So Veterans Park, so just in case, I want to make sure I'm getting in the right park.
Sure.
So this is the park that is right across, or it's close to Paul Gross Jewelers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's right on the river. We've got the West Grand Bridge. So if we were going across the bridge, it's immediately to the right.
Yes.
That is Veterans Park.
Yep. So it's between Jackson and Grand Avenue bridges. You're right.
Okay.
It was the park that was created when the paper company and other philanthropic players in the community in the 80s acquired those buildings and made way for a park to occur in those spaces.
So that has been under construction.
Yep.
So we used to have lunch by the river.
Yeah.
We moved it across to the river, and now hopefully this year we're going to be coming back to that area. So
Mm-hmm.
what updates have we done to Veterans Park?
Sure. Well, all of our riverfront spaces started with a vision, and the vision was in order for our economy to grow, we need to think a little differently about how we approach economic development. And one of the components was our river is underutilized for recreational purposes. It's beautiful to look at, it's beautiful to walk around, run around, or bike around. But we had some opportunities to encourage and to invite people to utilize that river in different and other ways. And one in such way was to protect the riverbank spaces themselves. Wisconsin Rapids is known to flood. It's flooded for 100 and since existence, right?
Since the dawn of time.
Yeah, right. So way before the Industrial Revolution happened and before our community started building along the river, it was also flooding. And so over the years, the flooding creates major impacts to the riverbank. And so part of the project, a core part of the project, was to stabilize and prevent further erosion of losing our riverbank or riverfront spaces. And so that's why you see new riprap there, a new river wall in some cases. We did some in Veterans Park where you were talking between the 2 bridges. There's a river wall there that was constructed in the early 1930s. So that infrastructure is nearly 100, if not 100 years older. And so we needed to do some maintenance and repair to it. So at the same time, at the top of the river wall is a railing and a fence.
Mm-hmm.
And in much of the river wall, now Veterans was okay in some spaces, but in the next park over where the clock and bell tower is,
Right.
you could literally push the fence out past the river wall. And so if you had a little child or somebody that was unsupervised, you could have lost somebody through and over the wall and into the river. So we have an obligation as a city to have safe public spaces, and so that was the core area. So protecting the riverfront spaces themselves, the river wall and the riverbank, and then to look at where the safety improvements. So when the park is done, you'll see a whole new river wall railing that meets current code. The previous railing was also out of code, so if you had a small child, again, they could have climbed through,
over,
and so it's unsafe, right? So
Right.
it was a known situation, and we had to address it. So that's the kind of the safety improvements, the ones that are sometimes lost in conversation, but nonetheless important, right? As the renovations that you're wanting to speak about.
Now, we always do lunch by the river down there, and we have the opportunity. We always have dancers or we have performers down there. Is going to be like a space down there that we have kind of carved out where we have, either a nice chunk of concrete or some sort of space that we can have a nice performance and be able to have, microphones and not have cords running to Holly Rocks and to borrow power from here and borrow power from there. Have we updated some of that so that way we can have a nice system down there where we can have a performance?
That's great. That's a great question. So when we did our public outreach, when we knew we were going to make some improvements to the riverfront spaces, we came to the community over a series of public meetings and said, tell us what you want us to think about incorporating into the spaces. And we got everything right from the community. And it was great because it really validated some of the assumptions we had, that we wanted permanent power provisions, that we wanted maybe not a covered stage there because there had been a battle that was fought on that before, but maybe there was some basic provisions that we could provide for a nice stage. So yes, there will be a stage. Off the top of my head, I don't have the dimensions, but it's wide enough to have a fairly sizable band with multiple instruments set up. And then at the fall of the year, all the power provisions went in. So we've upgraded the entire power of the park. So that way there will be a junction power access box right by the stage. So there's not cords running through the park. There will be there's already new power by the street for the Lunch by the River vendors.
Okay.
There's also new power by the balcony, which we can probably talk about in a minute. And then there's also power on the north end of the park for a lot of the holiday lighting that goes on. So a lot of infrastructure upgrades that, again, are below the surface. People don't necessarily see them, but we want to highlight them because they were associated with the project.
I know that a lot of people have always asked, well, what's going on down there? And we're like, construction.
Yeah.
It's construction.
It's just construction, yeah.
But just knowing those updates, I knew about some of them, but just not all of them. I mean, it's really nice to see that we put in the power so that way we don't have the cords. I've been down there for Lunch by the River for the last, I don't know, probably 15 years. And just knowing how many cords that get drawn out from this point to that point, it'd be nice to have non-tripping hazards for people who are coming to enjoy that.
Right.
So that's going to be a nice, huge benefit for that area.
Another couple of features, when we've been down there for Lunch by the River, we both have probably seen the overflowing garbage cans. Not attractive, right, when you're trying to host events of a large scale. So we'll see more trash receptacles and recycling bins brought to the park, some additional seating, and then all of the walks, both the walks and the trails in the park that was completed last fall, as well as the park, Veterans Park and Mead Rapids View, are now going to be widened so they're recreational trail standard. So they're 8 foot wide. So that way you can have perhaps 2 wheelchairs going in opposite directions, or bicyclists and pedestrians. So that way there's not conflict on that area. I mean, the best success is that the parks become very busy. And we want to make sure that users, whether they're on foot, on bike, or maybe in a wheelchair or using a mobility aid, can get to and from safely. So all of those, all of the grades, so the slope of all of the walks are all ADA handicapped accessible.
Which is really nice.
Really important, right?
And we added that the walkway underneath the bridge. So if you're coming from the south side of town and you're walking, you can actually now walk underneath the bridge instead of trying to catch the lights up. I'm on the wrong bridge, but we're going to get to that bridge.
Yeah, we'll get to that one.
We'll get to that bridge. But we did do some
it's a
bridge
teaser,
work.
right?
Yeah, it is a teaser.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I know that we, doing those upgrades to the sidewalks have made just a huge, huge difference. I walk on them quite a bit. I'm looking forward to the snow being away and we can get back out there and walking, which kind of leads into the next one. So we talked about the sidewalks so that way you can walk around. So we actually do have a very nice path connecting all of our bridges now.
We do.
So we can actually start at Veterans Park, go across and walk along the river and then come back around. And this is where I think I'm going to go with the whole entire path underneath the bridge.
Yeah, right.
But there's a park right across from the hospital.
That's right.
And there's like so many cool things that went on during that upgrade into that park, because it was just a kind of a blah green space. And now it's like a super cool, really nice, usable space where we have the outdoor fitness center.
That's right.
So that's kind of really neat that we could do the bridge to bridge walk and then stop and do the outdoor fitness center along the walk to connect it, because we do now have that nice path along First Street. Is it First or Second?
First Street.
First Street. That was really nice. I know walking
and
on
first
that
and
path.
third, actually. Yep.
Yeah, that path we're walking on there. I had a couple times where it's just like, we need something here because
Right.
it's not safe to walk on.
Yeah, that's right.
So I really have appreciated that, and it's a beautiful walk yet too on top of it.
Well, it's been a real priority for us in the sense that a lot of cities plan around the automobile or trucks or just vehicles in general. And as trends go and as preferences change and as time progresses, people want to be more active. And that's not just young people. That's not older folk. I mean, it's everyone, right? Everyone. And I went for a run the other night and it was chilly. I was trying to get myself out and get through this winter blues and just catch spring, the moments of spring we've got. And it was amazing to see. I was probably the youngest person on the trail, and it was encouraging to me to see so many older folks active and engaged, because we know that the key to aging in place, that being able to stay in your home and living in a community you grew up in and not having to move maybe to family in another place for care, is the ability to be out physically active and to be able to socialize and to see small groups of people walking together, even with walking sticks or canes. It was really impressive. And it warms my heart to see that, some people mischaracterize and say, well, it's just for those young people. Actually, I've found it's just the opposite, that more folks that are using the trail system are older folks on a daily
and I know
basis.
I do my walk early in the morning. So 6 a.m., I'll go do my walk. So it's a 4-mile walk. So if I leave my home and I walk all the way down and I do the bridge to bridge and I come back home, it's a 4-mile loop, which is really awesome. But even at 6 a.m., down at this particular park, there's people down there.
Yeah.
There was some group doing yoga, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not the only person up at this hour. Because normally I would do my walk by myself. I'm like, I could actually join a yoga group at 6 a.m. down by the river, and it's beautiful. You watch the sunrise.
Right.
And then yet on top of it, you do have there's 6 stations, right?
That's right. 6 fitness stations.
So, and it's really great. They have different levels. So if you're, brand new at it and you just want to ease into it, it tells you what you should be doing, gives you pictures, which is really nice. And then it just kind of increases in difficulty.
That's right.
So it was even really nice. I mean, I think there was 6 guys down there all rotating through the stations, doing their workout, doing their own thing. We got the yoga going over there. I'm like, it's 6 a.m. in Wisconsin Rapids, and this park is busy.
And amazing. Someone came up to me and I'm a user of the system, so it's great for me to be able to get some reflection on what's working and not working when I try to walk the shoes of every one of our residents to the extent possible. And one of the residents came up to me and said, I canceled my gym membership. Now, the gyms may not like us because they're able to work out outside, but it was a great validation. I mean, I've joked with folks, to your point about sunrise and sunset. There is no better place to catch a sunset and maybe even a sunrise than Demet's Park now, because we've created spaces for people to enjoy it right at the base of the river. Now you've got the expressway and a little bit of traffic, but as the trees start taking hold, we lost a lot of trees last summer in the windstorm on that park, but we've replanted, and we're going to be replanting more this coming year. But it really is reassuring that people want public spaces that are more than just green space. They want to be able to use them. They want to interact with them. They want to socialize in them. And so hopefully when we're done with this project, whether it's getting an active workout, the yoga, I mean, that's an economic development story, right? I don't know wherever that instructor was doing yoga before, but now they're able to use a city park in a beautiful space.
And she had everything in the back of her truck.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I mean, I purposely went through that park, and I'm like, okay, I got to see what's going on.
Yeah.
To be nosy. I want to see what's going on. And she had everything that she needed for yoga in the back of her truck.
Yep.
She started her class, and everyone grabbed what they needed, and they did yoga down there.
That's
I'm like,
amazing.
This is what the city wanted. This is their vision. They wanted to see this happen. So for it's at 6 o'clock in the morning, like not exactly sure if the time frame works with everybody.
Yeah, right.
But being able to have that of a nice, peaceful, quiet area to be able to do that. And it's gorgeous down there.
Yeah,
I mean,
it really
it was not a very pretty park to begin with. It was just blah.
Yeah, very passive green space, and that's great. But I think our community members, as we talked, are
and I think
expecting
more ducks were down there, more geese were down there than people.
I would agree.
But with all the new improvements, with the different flowers that you guys have planted, and I love the fact that they're labeled. I'm a huge labeler.
Sure.
If I could label everything, I would. But
people want to know what that stuff is, right? Whether it's the fitness stations or whether it's the shade structure. I mean, there's a lot of reasons that you've got to inform the public.
Right.
So that
well,
I mean,
just even people like me who are just kind of curious when they see the flowers bloom in someone's yard, and I'm like, oh, I really wish I could get that for my yard.
Yeah.
And with it not being labeled, you're like, oh, but now I can't get it. But down there at the park, all the flowers are labeled. I mean, I really thought that was really something. It's a unique feature to it. You guys are really thinking about, okay, if someone really did enjoy this, they can go and they can take it and they can bring it back to their house as well. So I always enjoy telling newcomers to the Rapids, hey, we got this outdoor fitness center.
Yeah.
Because everyone's like, we have a what?
Yeah.
Because even people who've been here for years, they saw the construction, but I don't think they've really fully understood. We have a fitness center.
That's right.
It's outdoors and it's year round too. So again, we're kind of going on. You're doing really good about making sure that everything is year round.
Yeah.
Because even in the middle of winter, you can still go down there. You can still do the workout.
Yep.
You may be doing it in negative 20-degree weather, but you could still do it.
Yep. We plow many of the paths because we know, someone J.R. Siewert and others are always active in the winter. They're maybe training for marathons or training for other events. And it's encouraging to be able to keep these folks active outdoors.
My son lives up in Eau Claire, and that's the one thing when he does his winter runs, he's like, I make sure I know where the road, everything is clean, that I stay on the paths where the city actually takes care of it.
That's
He's
right.
like, I don't want to get injured. I don't want to fall. I don't want to slip on the ice. And very appreciative of Eau Claire doing that. And I'm very appreciative of Rapids doing that as well, of making sure that we can, as a community, still have that fitness throughout the seasons.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so, and obviously time will tell how much the community adapts and evolves and makes something out of these great spaces. It's all about programming, and it's great to see even in its first year, some of these spaces already being programmed.
And we have
by
some
our
grills
residents.
down there. So if you wanted to have a family picnic,
That's right.
There are some grills down there. We do have the picnic tables. So there is space. There is still options out there. It's not just for one thing. It's not just for fitness. You can have your family down there and enjoying that canoe launch that's down there.
That's right. Yeah, we didn't talk about some of those other features, right? I think that was an observation we made was if folks want to have a picnic, they really have to picnic everything in. And for some reason, the city, for one reason or another, I'm not sure why, but we had like one or two grills in our entire expanse of city parks along the river.
Yep.
And, you go to a county park, you go to a state park, there's grills everywhere, right? So why not create some grill space for residents to be able to have a family gathering or an afternoon picnic in our beautiful parks?
Yes. Which was a great option to have. Well, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed that little discussion with Mayor Zach. I hope you learned a lot about our new walking path and outdoor fitness center.
That's pretty cool.
It is. It was great. Great to see new things happening. Can't wait till it gets a little bit warmer out to go down there and check it out.
I know a couple years ago we were visiting some other cities that were near water. Close to the Mississippi, there's a couple offshoot. They had lakes and recreation facilities, and you were commenting, why don't they do that here in Rapids? It would be a great draw.
Yeah,
like it was for us being a tourist there.
So we do have an open house this weekend.
Where's that?
We're going to go over to 661 William Street. So we're going to go take a look. We're going to be there from 11 until 2 o'clock over at William Street. And again, that's our 4-bedroom, 2 on the main, 2 on the upper. And our 2 bathrooms. So 2 full baths. So full bath on the main, full bath in the basement, and then a very large half bath on the upper stairs, on the upper level. So really cool house, and looking forward to being there and to meeting everybody.
On Saturday.
On Saturday from 11 to 2.
You betcha.
All righty.
So if they're not looking for those events, they have other things to do. So
I'll spin it around because you're doing really well at reading upside down, but I'll be nice to you.
So Friday we've got Rome's Indoor Farmer Market down at the Rome Town Hall. And then kicks off a weekend over at the public schools Children's Theater. They're doing Frozen Junior.
Nice.
So that'll be Friday, Saturday, and Sunday over at the Performing Arts Center. They've got on Saturday the Wood County Master Gardeners Seminar over at Midstate, and at the same time up at UW Marshfield campus.
Oh, cool.
So should check out the Master Gardeners information for that.
Well, it is the time of the year to get your hands dirty. Our plants are starting to come up.
Yeah.
So very excited. Spring is like right around the corner.
Then Sunday, it's Youth Art Month over at the Alexander House. So
Very cool.
get the youth involved with some art and get the creativity. The River Kings, we just wanted to follow up with that. They got knocked out during the second round of the playoffs.
Very sad.
It is a good game. It was very intense from what I saw, so you can follow that. Look back again at Wisconsin Rapids Community Media, WRCM, on YouTube.
Okay,
So
perfect.
they've got that posted.
Well, great.
I think that's all we got going this weekend.
I think so too. All right. Well, you guys have a great Central Wisconsin day, and we'll talk with you next week. Bye-bye.